Welcome back to Tales of Truja, Campaign 2, Treasure of the Lost, Episode 2. Last time... You know what? No. Beasel, will you give us a recap of what happened last time?
Last time on Tales of Truja, Treasure of the Lost, Beasel got milk, got the shiny, made dragon friend, and started adventure.
Thank you, Beasel. That'll be enough. Yeah, last time you guys fled the scene from a murder that you both took part in, killing a young, justified wizard trying to stop two thieves. You also stole Esther the cow. Whose cow is it? I don't know, but you stole her. She could be of great worth. I'm not entirely sure. And you fled south to try to get into Arthoria so that you could get out of the Fire Plains and potentially spend some of that nice money you collected from the people from the bar. So we're going to pick up there, and it is going to be you walking next to Esther, Evan, with Beasel riding mount on Esther. And we'll go from there as you're walking towards. You can kind of see way far into the distance this very large wall, which signifies Arthoria.
Okay, so I would like to say we're kind of just having a long chat as the journey's been going.
Yeah, you're just chatting.
I'd like to kind of tune in with me going, and that, Beasel, is why I'm no longer allowed in Mournhold.
Wow, that's interesting. As Beasel's pulling things from the bag and realizing that they can't hold any milk from Esther, and he's just throwing them off the cow.
What are you gonna do about that, Evan? You gonna go pick up your gold?
They have the bags of gold?
He's just chucking gold out of bags, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I would like to collect them.
Okay.
And would like to add, Beasel, don't throw the shiny!
Lie. And you realize that whenever you're throwing that stuff that there's no gold. He might not have picked up any gold. No one checked the bag that Beasel took out of the tavern.
I would like to still not check the bag.
Sweet. That puts a damper on things for both of you. You approach the border crossing into the nation of Arthoria. You're getting close. Walls stretch as far as the eye can see in both directions. The wall stands about 6 meters tall, so it's a big wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. And then past the wall, the city that you enter is called Oasis. Okay. And so the closer you get to the entry gate, you realize there are about a dozen Arthurian guards, and there's plenty of people kind of going in from maybe some fields on the outside of the walls who have to pass through the guards first.
So we're like queuing up in a line, basically.
Not a huge line. You can just see far off some farmers going in and out with some goods on some push wagons, some hand carts. But you are getting pretty close. Why don't you both give me a insight roll?
I got a 2.
12.
Oh, 12? Thank the Lord for Beasel. Because apparently this dwarf's an idiot, and Beasel is a savant but does not understand English, sadly. Beasel, you get the slightest idea that you probably should not be visible to these guards. You know, you've seen some humans, some Dawnmen, dwarves, elves in your life, and they have not treated you very well aside from Gus, and that you kind of get a deep instinct to hide into one of these saddlebags on Esther.
Okay, yeah, Beasel just crawls in there, weasel in his way, weasel the Beasel, going down into the saddlebag, and he kind of has his claws hanging out of it, but then he realizes that's probably not a good idea, and he pulls the claws inside the saddlebag.
I would just feel lucky, Cole, that there are no stormtroopers in this universe, because they would probably punch the bag. Just throwing that out there. And for those of you who don't understand, that is a Mandalorian reference. Season 1.
Yeah, well, it's a sad thing those stormtroopers have probably never seen a fire-spitting saddlebag.
Touche. And then let me get a history check from you, Evan.
Okay.
With advantage.
All right. Cool. Hey, I'm gonna need that.
Well, good, because your rolls are awful.
I just rolled a 7. And then I rolled a 2. Okay, hold on. This is so I'll make an 8. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Sweet. So you're not 100% certain, but you are vaguely sure that it might be illegal to bring native species from the Fire Plains across the border into Arthoria.
It also could have just slipped my memory from the years of alcoholism.
And that's probably true. Yeah, you might not have a lot of brain cells left. I mean, if we look back to your songs, you sang about bosoms and elvish hills, and that's probably all you got on the mind.
And if you reference Elven Hills for what that really means,
Yikes. Okay, yep. I'll stop you there. I think we can pick up what you're putting down.
Elven Hills. So I take it that since we're probably going to have to answer some questions, I would just kind of like to whisper to the saddlebag, Basil, if we get caught, remember, you're my son.
Okay.
Perfect. So as you get closer, you see a very large, sharp-featured Arthurian guard that starts to walk towards you.
Okay.
Okay.
Whoa. What's got you moving in such a hurry?
You haven't heard yet?
Heard what?
I'm here touring. I represent the band Screeching Beasils.
I've never heard of Screeching Beasils. What's a Beasils?
Well, you'll have to go to our show tonight to find out.
Where are you playing?
Playing at the local tavern. It's the come on, sorry, we've been playing quite a few venues.
Are you
lately.
talking about the Short Spout?
Maybe. I think so. I mean,
How are you going to get there? Do you have a map?
I don't have a mat. All I have are me feet.
So how are you going to play there?
With me magical 6-string.
You can tell he is pretty suspicious, considering that was not a great answer in general.
Well, I would like to try to persuade him into thinking that he's just a little out of touch with the kids these days.
Okay.
So I'm gonna roll for that real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, it's a 13.
Do you get any bonuses on that?
That's with the +2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so do your best trying to convince him.
I know you may be a little out of touch these days, but we're kind of what the kids would call an experimental group.
So he leans down to you, kind of getting, not necessarily on eye level, but he's really demeaning, looking down at you. I'm pretty hip with my music in this town, boy. And he kind of gives your beard a little tug. Just like a little demeaning tug.
No.
I don't think no is a proper response to that. Do you mind if I check your bags on this here cow?
You just want to put your hands on a kind foreigner's sacks without even getting to know him first.
He waves over 2 guards and they grab you by both, one on each arm. I think I'm gonna look through the bags now.
Be gentle on an old man.
I think you're older than me.
Help, I can't breathe!
And so he starts to rummage through your bags. He's not yet gotten to the one where Beasil's at. And then he opens up the bag where Beasil is and looks right down. He's just staring eye to eye with Beasil. Beasil, not really sure what's going on, to be honest. He understands maybe 1 out of every 10 words that has been said thus far. What will you do?
Don't hurt my son!
Your
First
son?
off, Beasil's going to cast Cloak of Night at being seen, which allows the caster to become a shadow for 3 minutes or until the end of that player's turn. During this time, the caster is immune to all damage, cannot interact with objects, and cannot damage other creatures. A player under the influence of this spell appears as a shadow moving upon the surface of their choosing, and he's just going to move as a shadow, like a little round shadow, as fast as he can towards the entrance gate of the city, trying to draw the guards away.
So it is daytime, and the most that I would allow you to move is underneath Esther.
Okay, well, that's where he'll go.
Okay, so you just real quick lickety-split disappear. The guard goes, "What in the heck just happened?" And he looks over at Gus and says, "What's your name?"
My name's Gus. Knave Gus. From the Dwarf Hold.
My name is Thandulin. Not Thandulin. We get confused a lot. I'm pretty stoic and heroic.
Well, I knew because I'm good friends with Thandulin, and he would certainly let me in.
I'm pretty sure Thandulin's been dead for maybe about 2,000 years.
Oh, by the beards of me ancestors, I can't believe it. This news is stunning me.
Well, you clearly don't know who I'm talking about, but that's fine, totally fine. I'm not hurt. I want you to remember my name because I'm going to remember yours.
Soon all will know my name in this town. Screeching Beasils shall light up the streets and cause an orgy of love, the likes of which this town hasn't seen in an age.
All right, fair enough. Weird, but fair enough. And then he kind of does like a money gesture to you. If you want in, you got to give me your money.
About the money. I was promised an advance fee, which I have yet to get.
Evan, why don't you do a investigation roll?
Oh, sure. Nice. 19.
Perfect. So Beasel grabbed anything that was shiny. That meant like non-precious metals, like belt buckles he took off of people, which I imagine when they stood up to clap for you made their pants drop. But he did get a sizable amount of silver and some gold that is kind of scattered about all of the pouches. But if you collect them all and give it to him, it just might work out.
Oh, so how much are we talking here?
You probably got around like 25, 26 silver pieces and maybe 6 gold.
You would take a man's last 26 silver pieces and 1 copper?
No. I think I'll take it all. And he just grabs it from you and says, "Welcome to Oasis." And allows
But
you
that's
through.
not very welcoming.
Welcome to Oasis. And he smacks Esther's butt and realizes this is no horse. So she just slowly walks forward. And you two enter into the city. It's nothing too crazy, but as far as a border town goes, it's quite built up. It's got miles and miles of city to it. It's pretty well advanced. You got a lot of brick homes, but there's also kind of the impoverished, like mostly wooden homes, kind of the shack style throughout.
What is the so is it fairly wealthy?
Yeah, it's not bad off. Like I said, like you've got some nice brick homes, stone homes, but there's also impoverished parts of the town.
Very good. Basil, me boy, why about we find a place where we can get a warm mug of milk and have a little talky talk?
There is no Beasel, only my son.
Come on, my son. Let's go get a warm mug at the old tavern and come up with a plan. Old Gus has a plan of his own.
Beasel's gonna pull a cup from the sack and just start insinuating there is no need for him to go to a tavern.
Yeah, but Daddy needs him some beer, or brandy, I guess, whatever you want to get. You don't know where the tavern is. You've never been to this city, so.
Is there any building, whether it's a tavern or not, that just looks like a shop or a tavern or anything?
Yeah,
just nearby.
Directly near you, is going to be like guard barracks. But if you go further,
I would
into
like
the
to
city,
assume that that's the tavern and head that way.
Okay, so you go towards the guard barracks with your cow and with Beasel just kind of walking underneath Esther. Really not in sight, to be honest, because who's going to look underneath the cow? I mean, from far away they would see. You approach a guard, and he looks at you and just goes,
"Excuse me, kind sir. I'd like to head in here and get myself a warm mug ale.
And milk.
And milk, as my son said."
"Who said milk?"
My
Me.
son.
My son.
"Who's me? This cow talks?"
Yes, moo.
Oh my gosh. Well, you've come to the wrong place. These are military barracks.
Ah. So there's
Okay.
no ale in there.
Well, not for you.
Could you point a doddering old dwarf towards the nearest tavern, please?
Mm-hmm.
Moo.
It's a really weird cow, man. Where'd you get this thing?
It's a long story, son, and I haven't the years nor the time required to explain it to you, I'm afraid.
I'd like you to explain it to me so I can tell you where this bar is.
Okay, so I'd like to persuade him, if I can.
Okay.
To.
Go for it.
That'll be a 6. But I would still like to say something anyway.
Go for it.
Well, many a moons ago, I met my wife here at the nearby town of...
Hold on, let me stop you right there. Your wife?
Yes, my wife. Esther. Such a beautiful lass.
That's a cow.
How dare you!
I think that's probably illegal in every nation.
No, it's not.
Cole, why don't you do a persuasion?
Nat 20.
No way!
So you, the guard goes, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I had no idea. Yeah, the bar is just a couple blocks down on the right side. It's going to be called the Greasy Fork because the Greasy Spoon closed down for rat problems."
Thank you, son. If your shift's over before too late, you should catch the band tonight. I heard they're very good.
Who's playing?
Screeching Beasils.
Moo.
What's a Beasel?
Well, you'll have to come there to find out.
Fair enough. So you guys continue down. You go towards the Greasy Fork, and you tie up Esther.
All right, very good. So stay out here, honey. We'll bring you some soft cud to chew on later. Come on, my son.
Well, go, my son.
He just said he'd bring me soft cut.
Beasel is now Esther, I guess.
All right. Well,
or he thinks you're married. That dynamic shifted pretty quick.
This is getting interesting. I like it.
No,
Mm-hmm.
Beasel is just not sure of his name. My son, my honey.
My love, a lady.
Hello, my bad. All right. Well, I guess I head in alone.
Okay, so you go in. This is a much, much nicer tavern than what you got accustomed to in the Fire Plains while you were working with that treasure hunting company. There's very ornate, decorative wood. There's really nice crown molding. I mean, the works. And in front of you is an elf with a very gorgeous mustache curling on the sides. He looks to be probably a Terramin elf.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I want a bath.
You want a bath?
Yeah, I want to try to get it like a bath. I mean, we've just come in off the road. Well,
Okay.
I guess I
You
come
went.
in off the road.
You did go to a tavern, which does not necessarily mean it's a tavern and inn.
True.
You also have 0 money.
Right.
Okay, sure. You walk up to the bartender, and what are you gonna say to him?
This is the Terramin elf, right?
Correct.
Lad, that's a fancy mustache. With a fancy mustache always comes a bit of class and debonair, and a man that might help an old dwarf find a place to take a bath and relax from the road.
Why, thank you, sir. It is a fine mustache indeed.
For a second, I thought I walked into Bucky's Tavern. Anyway,
I
do you
don't know
have
what Bucky's Tavern is, but it sounds delectable.
It is every style of scrib jerky known to man far and wide. But anyway, do you have perhaps a warm bath and a place for an old man to rest his feet?
Well, one might say it's going to cost you some coin or some labor.
I can do something better.
Now, what would that be?
I can provide you a performance that'll drop the tops of every elven maiden in this town tonight.
Well, I like the sound of that, but let me hear you play right now, young man. Does Beasel come in during this time as a shadow, or?
Yeah, he sneaks in and goes to one of the corners.
Okay. Yes, play that guitar.
Well, this here Latar is a bit magical, you see.
Was that the song you're going to play for me?
No, that was just a little taste. For the real deal, you'll have to wait till later.
I don't wish to wait, young man. I'd like to hear it now.
All right.
Give it a kiss. Young man. And talk about my mustachio, please.
There once was an elf with a stash so fine. He got the maidens and he drank their wine. He brought home a lass with debonair and class. He liked to place his hands upon her little supple
Beasel.
She said, for an elf you aren't so bad, I guess. You can place your hands upon my very firm
Beasel.
And now as we ride away, we know this simple fact, that if you mess with us, boy, we will give you our axe.
And Esther.
Why, thank you, sir. I much enjoyed that tune of yours. Now, I'm not sure what a Beasel is, but I love it. What's the name of your guitar and your person?
We are Screeching Beasils.
We.
Me and my son.
Why don't you roll, let's call it insight for me.
While he's doing that,
A what?
A 4.
Alrighty, great. Beasel, why don't you also roll insight for me? Since we have to rely upon you for most rolls.
12.
12? Good enough for me. Beasel, you walk out confidently to this bar keep, and you say, Beasel have vitiligo. Me son. Please, sir.
Beasel have vitiligo. Me son.
Are you sure you know what vitiligo is, young man?
No.
Acceptable. Roll persuasion, Cole.
20.
Nat?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. He goes, why, you must have a rare vitiligo, my son. You are welcome in this tavern anytime you're here.
What about Esther?
Who is Esther?
That's me wife.
Yes, why didn't you bring your wife in at the beginning?
She's a bit shy, you see. She's quite a special lass.
Okay. And Beasel skulks out with his 3 fingers and leads Esther back into the tavern.
Yeah, so you lead her back in, and the barkeep is, he's just astounded at this combination. We've got this dwarf whose wife's apparently a cow, and you've got this weird, almost goblin-looking creature that he's unfamiliar with, which is apparently just a dwarf with vitiligo.
It itches terribly.
Could we also say that perhaps Beasel has attached some of the shinies to the saddle of our trusty steed that make it shake almost like a tambourine while we're playing?
If you would like to do that after this, you certainly
Yes,
might be able
I would
to.
like to do that.
You have not
afterwards.
had the time to do so thus far.
As we would adorn Esther in all the finest gold pieces.
Of
we have
course,
found.
you have no gold pieces. You gave all of your money to the guard,
But
but
we
like the
have
belt
buckles.
buckles and silverware and such.
That'll
sure.
do it.
Perfect.
That'll do it.
So he shows you around the tavern. He says, "Hey, yeah, I want you to play as soon as the sun goes down and people start coming in." He says he'll give you a tab for alcohol,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
he leads you to his own quarters. He makes you take Esther back outside, and you and Beasel are now able to take a bath in a big tin tub.
Awesome. And if you would, kind sir, if you could give a little bit of food to my mistress.
Why, most certainly.
She needs a lot, not a little bit.
Yes.
Sorry, the boy loves his mother quite fondly.
So you two go to the back. He prepares the tin tub and says, "Now you and your son might be able to bathe with one another now."
Could I ask Beasel to shoot a little flame at the bottom of the tub to like heat it up a little bit?
Oh, you don't have to ask. Beasel hates anything cold, and immediately he just started.
Yeah, so he heats it up and it's boiling, and Cole Beasel gets in and he's loving it, and you touch it and it immediately burns your fingertips. So you're probably gonna have to wait a little bit.
Damn, that's hotter than the 3 fires of Finland.
Well, wait your turn.
But now might be a good time to discuss kind of a game plan going forward, if you're going to steal from these people or what you're going to do.
Beasel, my boy, why should we reach for pocket change when greater treasure might lie beyond the walls of that keep over there, for say?
The greatest treasure lies beyond the walls of this tavern.
Agreed, my son. Agreed. It's
gonna be so.
What do you say we blow out this show tonight and try to get us a little show at the old keep there for the royalty?
There is no keep. I don't know what keep you're talking about. Absolutely no keep has been mentioned. Okay.
That's okay.
But we promised.
We did. But to fulfill that promise, we're gonna need more shiny.
Why?
You see, my boy, shiny is the way of the world nowadays. Used to, a man could get by on his honor alone. But now, it requires a bit of the shiny if you want to keep the milk flowing, as they say.
But we have a lot of shiny. It's in the bag.
Yes, and we need to put the shiny on Esther. And I'll also need your help to get her to jiggle a bit as I play.
Why?
You see, boy, it'll enhance the music.
She's your belly dancer? I love it.
She's no common brothel witch.
You know those words.
And neither are we, my boy. Neither are we.
Evan, why don't you roll persuasion? And Cole, why don't you roll like a counter persuasion for me?
He rolls another nat 20.
Probably.
4.
Okay.
My checks only work for Beasils.
All right, Evan. Gus is going to be able to convince him of some things. So whatever you want to go for.
You see, my boy, Esther, she likes the shiny. She likes to be covered in it and made beautiful like the beautiful lass she truly is on the inside.
And the outside.
And the outside, my boy. And the outside. Plus, I've got a plan, me boy. If we're going to make this road trip happen and live our best lives, we're definitely going to need the shiny. And you know who has the shiny, Beasil?
Who has shiny Beasil?
The rich ones, my son.
But I'm right here.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Is there another Beasil?
There could be no other Beasil.
I'm going to say he's probably pretty confused right now. Just going out on a limb.
Yeah, he started to get a headache and kind of just sinking lower in the bathtub.
Okay,
so what exactly is the plan? What are you guys doing?
My plan is to pull off the heist of the century in some form or fashion. Maybe whether that be putting on a show in a lord's manor or getting invited to a swanky party.
Okay.
Beasil doesn't have a plan.
I like it. I would like to.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Thank you, Alfred. I would like to give some context to this. I'm really liking the energy. You have only robbed people once. It was the other night. You 100% got caught. Beasil grabbed almost no money. You've lost all of that money. So I'm going to say maybe start a little smaller. Now, if you want, hey, we want to go hog wild, we can. Let's go try to get into this fictitious keep that you keep talking about.
Well,
and
I like to think that as a doddering old dwarf, I've just life grew tiresome and sort of mundane with the adventuring guild.
Why don't you roll a perception check for me?
We're just definitely ready to get out there and just have one last wild plan.
Hoorah.
That's a nat 7.
You don't really know what town you're in, and you are, in fact, under the impression that there is a keep here, a very large keep full of royals.
Yes.
You kind of forgot that he said that you're in the town of Oasis. And so you go for it. You guys should probably practice. I'm going to say that.
All right.
Stealing
very good.
Things.
Very good.
So we'll fast forward now. It is going to be nighttime. Customers are shuffling through.
Are me and Beasil deep in our cups?
Well, so I would say, although the barkeep is convinced, right, that he has alopecia, you're probably off in some dark corner. Or not alopecia, but like, sorry.
I have alopecia.
Yeah.
You better be careful. Will Smith's gonna pop up in the corner.
Love you. G.I. Jane 2. Can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Will Smith just... my wife's name out your... Wow, dude. Yes. It was a G.I. Jane joke. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. I'm going to, okay?
Keep Beasils' name out your...
Well, regardless, he's convinced that, that he
we are the next great
vitiligo, but he doesn't want the customers to get too scared. So you're kind of in the corner waiting for your time to shine, and he looks over at you and goes, gives you the signal that it's your time to shine and to play a song. Beasel,
so I would like to if we could lead Esther on the stage, and I would like to hope that she's now adorned in all the shiny belt buckles we collected.
Of course.
If it inspires anybody to do some fan art out there, that would be fantastic.
We would love it. Yeah, maybe not too weird, but Beasel, you get to work. Circular shinies.
How's everyone doing out there in Dormsville tonight?
Yeah, good.
I got the town name totally wrong.
It's Oasis.
Yes, it is an oasis. I must admit, it is quite a nice place to visit.
No, that's
we come from the Fire Plains, and we're here to melt your brains.
Oh, okay.
We are Screeching Beasel, and we've come here to rock. And if you don't like it, you can suck our
Beasel.
Where'd that come from?
I'm gonna go ahead and roll my stealth.
Okay.
She came from the Fireblend, a fiery lass. She had 2 giant cans and a beautiful
Beasel.
She swore like a sailor and fought like a man. She had anything you would dream of in a lass. She said, come on here, boy, won't you fondle me well? If you don't do that, then I'll send you to hell. Everything right and everything wrong. Everything that I like to put in me bong. She said, honey, won't you come here and fondle me so? I'll be your everything, don't you know? I'll take your cows and your dragon kin too. I'll be your everything, I'll be your Judas. Screeching Beasel, we came here to rock. And if you don't like it, you can suck our
Beasel.
Just Beasel now! All right. And all the women out there, could repeat this, please. Give us more ale, my friend.
Give us more ale.
Spin your tails till you win.
I'm not really sure what you just said.
And neither am I, ladies, please don't judge. If you like me, then you must like fudge. But that does it for our tale in a most interesting way. And if you don't like us, you're most certainly
Beasel.
So Beasel reappears directly in front of you and Esther on stage in like a pretty large-sized bag of gold. The audience doesn't know what's in there. He goes, shiny.
Now, could I, like, knowing what's in the bag, reach in and kind of like toss stuff out like it's part of our act, just like a little bit stuff in each direction, just like showering them in trinkets.
Yeah. So you reach your hand. You know what? I would like to get a performance check.
All right. Do I have advantage?
No. It's going to be like performance / athletics, but we'll just let whatever happens.
Holy cow.
Happens. What'd you get?
That's a 5.
Okay, perfect. So you reach in and you grab a handful, thinking that you'll throw it and it'll sprinkle down all joyfully. You pick it up and you toss it, and all of the pieces kind of stay together in the air, and it hits a woman in the face, knocking her way off of her chair, and she's kind of screeching, and you go,
Yeah!
So you get done. Things start to die down. You walk over to the barkeep to talk to him.
Hey, laddie. Did we blow your minds, melt your brains, and drive some of your lasses insane?
Well, you certainly drove that last one insane, if I say so myself.
I would like to reach over and grab the man's beer sitting next to me and chug it.
Yeah, go ahead. Would you like to do it, like, obviously?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you just reach over and drink, and he looks at you and he smiles. He's really pleased with that song.
Well, pat him on the back. Thank you, boy.
He leans over to you and says, I love cows too. They make me really happy.
I understand, my boy.
Which sparks Beasils to want to go talk to this man.
Yeah, Beasils walks up to him. Beasils walks up to him and says, Hi, I have vertigo.
Okay, and he picks you up and lays you on the stool next to him and says, Do you like cows too?
Like them. I love them.
I love cows. I like that one that was on stage.
What?
Back off.
Technically, Esther did not roll her performance check. I just want to point that out.
She performed.
Did she carry the show?
She carried the show. The show is all about Esther.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. So Beasils kind of threatens the large man who is a Donman, really pudgy, fat Donman, and he goes, "Okay, but I still like that cow." It kind of gets in your face.
In his face?
In Beasils.
Beasils opens his mouth and just lets some of the heat out.
And he goes, "Oh,
I would like to say, back off, my boy."
Now, my boy as in Beasils? Or this large gentleman?
Beasils.
Okay. Beasils, go ahead.
Yeah, back off.
And the guy goes, Alright then, I'll go find some cows elsewhere. And he gets up and walks out and he leaves.
Thank you, boy, for defending your mother like that. Makes me proud.
People have no respect for the sickly.
Oh, you.
I agree.
You, because of your vitiligo?
My vertigo, yes.
Oh, your vertigo now. Why don't you give me a Constitution roll? Beasils, not you, Evan. Evan, not you. Evan, not you.
I'll just die on the spot of a heart attack.
5. So Beasils confuses himself enough and kind of tricks his own body, and he'd be like, "It spins," and you go plop off of the bar stool, much like the woman did.
Yeah, and Beasils motions for Gus to come close.
Come close.
So Gus leans down on his knees.
Lean in.
What is it, Beasils?
Tell Esther I love her.
No, boy. Hang on. Is there an apothecary here?
Beasils gonna start apologizing to people and be like, "Sorry, I have vertigo."
And so the barkeep goes, "Why, I thought you said you had vitiligo. What are you?"
Damn it, boy! Can't you see he's sick?
So the barkeep runs around the bar. He's very concerned. He gets on his knees too, and he pulls out. He carries this large pitcher of milk and just dumps it on you.
Yeah, Beasils, is it warm milk?
Oh yeah, the warmest. Cole, you're going to gain an additional 5 temporary hit points for the next 24 hours.
Awesome. I would like to, if I could ask, is there anybody nearby? Looks like they might want to talk, or they would talk, or maybe they enjoyed the performance enough to do a little meet and greet with Screeching Beasel.
Yeah. Why don't you give me a perception roll?
Sure. It's 13.
13. Yeah. So you see, that large gentleman who was just talking to you about cows was very interested. He's actually standing in the doorway, kind of like peeking at you, with awe, kind of in a creepy way, but not in a creepy way like you're thinking. So you can pick up a Beasel and put him on your shoulder if you'd like, and walk over to him.
Come, my boy. Time to initiate phase 2 of your plan.
Or if you'd rather, you could design this kind of orb-like crib that is open on the top for him to float on near you. Or better yet, a saddlebag that is draped on you that he just sits in. Just food for thought.
We might need to do that.
You better not expect Beasel to start eating frog eggs.
What about blue milk?
We could do that.
Yeah, okay. So, Beasel, are you getting on his shoulder, or are you going to just walk?
No, I'm playing this out. I believe that I have vertigo, so he needs to carry me.
Yes, can I cradle him like a small baby?
100%. One arm cradle and hold the guitar in the other hand.
And while he's carrying Beasel pulls out his dictionary.
Yes. Does it say that? But like in
100%.
Dwarvish or something?
Not in Dwarvish. Never. Okay, probably in Common.
So I'd like to walk up to him and say, my friend, who happens to be the richest man in this town, or maybe the owner of that fine keep over there?
What keep are you talking about?
Come on, boy, don't play it stupid. I know I saw a fine keep from the road.
I know I may sound stupid, but there's no keep in this town.
Oh, well, what is that then?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I point at a large object in the distance?
Yeah, go ahead.
That right there, boy. Come on.
That's called the moon.
Oh, blast it all.
That's why it's shiny, luminous in the sky. You never seen the moon?
No.
Hey, little boy. He pokes you in the tummy. You seen the moon?
What?
Have you seen the moon?
I don't know. Have you? And Beasel gets up and pulls his trousers down and moons the guy.
Now, cobalt anatomy is a little different, so it really doesn't look like anything.
There's 3 buttholes.
No. And he goes, your boy's naked on below the waist.
He has vitiligo.
Okay.
And vertigo.
And vertigo.
Yes, it's a tragic case, you see.
Mm-hmm. Cole, give me some more Constitution rolls right now.
How many?
Just one.
13.
13. Okay, so you get, you're mooning. You get kind of tipsy, and then you face plant right in the neck of Gus.
That's okay, boy. That's all right. I tell you what we need is a wealthy patron to entertain tonight as well. If we could find one. Who are the wealthy members of this community?
Well, I'd say the richest is probably Captain Thandulin, not Thandlin. They get confused by name only.
Yes, I'm afraid I've done that once today. Already.
Yeah. I don't get it much, 'cause one's a hero from history.
One man's history is another man's present, I say.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm a traveling dwarf with a cow and a small son. Nothing about this makes sense.
That seems normal, aside from having vitiligo and vertigo.
And he's quite vivacious as well. What's your point?
I feel like you've seen a movie in a parallel universe called V for Vendetta.
Oh boy, we don't have a vendetta. We're just out on the road in search for gold, treasure, and bosoms.
Beasils gonna whisper into Gus's ear, I don't think he can read.
Me either, my boy. The lad seems quite hopeless. Thank you, son, for the information. We'll be on our way now.
Come with me if you want money.
Or to live.
Not to live, just money.
Okay, well, we also want to live. Should we still come with you?
I think so. So he leads you out. You forget.
No, we can't forget
No, you only forget her for a split second, and then you both run back in because Beasel like tugs on your beard and is like Esther. So you go back and you grab her and you start following this large fat Dawnman. You don't know his name or anything. He listened to you perform, so he knows the name of your band and whatnot. But yeah, so you're just kind of being led down these dark alleys in between in a very strange route.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Through the alleyways?
Yeah, through alleyways, in between buildings, on streets.
Beasel, we're finally gonna hit the big time, son.
Why do we want to hit the big time? What did the big time do?
Please don't hit me.
No, my boy. I mean all the warm milk and warm bosoms a man could dream of.
What's bosoms?
Don't worry, me boy. I'll take you out.
He's talking about them udders on the cows. We gotta get us some fresh milk, Beasel.
I don't trust him.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine, me boy.
All right.
Pats Beasel on the head slightly.
Hey, Cole, will you roll a counter persuasion?
Huh. 16.
Well, luckily that's not going to beat an 18. Beasel, I think we're like brothers. We both like milk and cows. Would you like to be my brother?
Now.
But I did technically just persuade you, so I think the answer is yes.
He has a point, my boy. He did technically persuade you.
Is it that you might not know what a brother is?
We're a very small, close-knit family, you see.
I would be too if I looked like him, but he's a brother to me now. My name is Big Time.
My name's Beasel, the Dragon Sage.
So please try not to say, let's hit the big time, because I don't like being hit.
Okay, we'll hug the big time.
Okay.
Beasel's just gonna give him a hug.
Yeah, so you reach to hug him, and he's obviously much larger than both of you, and he just wraps his arms around you, lifts you both up, and just starts shaking. I've always wanted a brother and a father and a mother.
Oh,
and,
that's right. We'll be one big happy family, my boy.
And he's just shaking you right there in the darkness, and that is where we're going to leave it for this time. Well, until next time, this has been Tales of Truja.
And Beasel.
And Beasel.
And Beasel.